Namaste, beloved. How are you? My name is Syma, and I'm a sacred feminine and spiritual coach, healer, yoga teacher, and I have the blessing of supporting women all over the world in healing their deepest wounds and transforming their lives, clearing their blocks, and creating their dreams. And with Mother's Day coming up, it's such an important day for us women because it can bring up so much for us. And I know that there's a lot of pressure, with all the commercials and the Hallmark cards for this to be a beautiful day of celebrating our mothers. But for many of us, this can be a very emotional time because in spite of what society would have us believe about the mother-daughter relationship and what the ideal mother is like, many of us don't have the ideal mother-daughter relationship, or even if we have a healthy relationship as adults, we could still be carrying a lot of traumas and pains and wounds from our earlier experiences with our mom. And so I was really inspired to create this video to help you to just gain some insights and support as to how you can begin or continue your healing journey in terms of looking into how your relationship with your mother is affecting you as a woman, because this is, all my work is about empowering women and helping us to connect with our full power and light and sacred feminine gifts as women. And because our mothers are the first significant females in our lives, that's our first interaction with the goddess, with the divine feminine, with what it means to be a woman. And the mother goddess is represented to us through our mothers, but yet our human mothers are just that. They're human mothers, right? So whereas the ideal archetype of the mother is like some mothers that we have in the goddess traditions, like Mother Mary, there's the beautiful Kuan Yin, and so many other goddesses, which I'll talk about a little later, the beautiful Egyptian Isis, and these are the quintessential mothers. I mean, these are mother goddesses. And the qualities that we tend to place upon our mothers as, our ideal mothers are mothers who are very loving, mothers who are nurturing and caring and just tend to us and can always know how to soothe us and be there for us and to help us feel nurtured and supported and special and beautiful and cared for and held. And while that's beautiful, and that's what we spiritually know is the experience of the Divine Mother, as human daughters with our human mothers, oftentimes that is not our experience. And the reality is that we're not going to find in Hallmark a card that captures that around Mother's Day that says, Mom, because of my relationship with you, I've got all these issues that I have to work on, and I'm going to do my best to heal them, and hopefully we can have a healthy relationship. Happy Mother's Day. We're not going to find a card like that, but for many of us, that's maybe what our card would say if we were being very honest, right? Because the reality is that we can have so many issues with our moms, and it's not something that's talked about so much, but mothers can be abusive, physically, emotionally, psychologically, verbally, sorry. They can be very critical. They can be abusive just by being absent or neglectful. Sometimes through no fault of their own, a mother could just not be there. Our mothers may have passed away. Our mothers may have abandoned us, right? So there's just so much scarring and wounding that can happen to us because of the reality of what many of us experience as daughters with our mothers. And in our relationship with mothers, often some of the wounding that we get is a result of their behavior, and this can manifest as passive aggressiveness, as criticism, like I've said, or as mothers can be competitive and jealous. And in the original story of the Brothers Grimm's Snow White, it's actually the real mother who becomes jealous of Snow White, even after longing for a daughter. And it is very true that it's not necessarily the stepmother. Sometimes your own mom can feel like that evil stepmother from a fairy tale. And I know it's not acceptable to say, which makes the wound of the mother healing that needs to happen so much more isolating for many of us, right? Because in a way, it's like you can't say that my mother withheld love from me or my mother didn't do this for me, because the pressures that we have are, well, she did her best or she sacrificed so much, and how can you say that about your mom? And I just want you to know that whatever you have felt with your mother, whatever your experience is, to please honor that, because that is part of your healing journey, and only you know what you felt, right? And your mother, of course, as a human being, did her best at the level of consciousness where she was, based on her own journey, her own traumas, her own disappointments, her own heartbreaks, and just where she was. That was where she operated, and that's the level of consciousness that she was at, and that was her best ability to give you love. However, that doesn't mean that it didn't fall short of what your needs were as a child, as a girl, as a young woman, and as an adult woman. And sometimes even in our adult lives, we can still experience those behaviors from our mothers, if they're emotional guilt trips or blackmail or manipulation or criticism, judgment, right? Competition or passive aggressiveness or neglect. And sometimes we can be so successful and, think that we have everything and feel that we're really empowered, and one interaction with our mom or one phone call can trigger us and set us back and make us feel like the little inner girl again who's feeling rejected or not good enough. And those are the kind of wounds that we can inherit as a result of different kinds of experiences with our mothers. So some of the core wounds that I see in my practice, in my coaching and healing practice with women, is no matter what we are trying to manifest or do in our lives, we have this core sense of not being good enough, of not feeling worthy, of not being able to receive in our relationships. So we overcompensate by this by overgiving, and then having relationships that aren't balanced. And we can be so in tune with other people's feelings, which is something, in a way it's a gift, because a sensitivity, hypersensitivity or extrasensoriness is something that is a gift. It can make us intuitive, but sometimes it's a coping mechanism that we develop as children just so that we can sense the moods of our mothers or parents or our environment, and we can adapt, so we know how to behave. And so again, specifically with the mother wound, maybe we learn to be extra caring and tentative to other people's needs so that we could have our needs met emotionally. And this is something we can learn from our mothers. Sometimes we have very loving mothers, but they're almost martyr-like. And again, because this is the goddess that we see, this is the first woman that we see, this is the behavior that we might repeat again in our lives, because we might think that in order to have your needs met, you have to sacrifice everything or put your needs last, or, manipulate people or try to hint at things instead of being assertive and clear and asking for our needs to be met. We might have troubles with boundaries in relationships. We may let others take advantage of us. We might be clingy and needy. And just like the fairy tale of Snow White's stepmother abandoning her and basically having this horrible plan to put her in the sleep spell, waiting for the prince to rescue us, this is something we can develop as well when we're waiting for true love's kiss, because we didn't have the true love from our mother, and we want to be awakened to the divine love that's inside of us, right? So sometimes how this can manifest is that we're constantly waiting to experience the love that was withheld from us or that we didn't have the chance to experience. And there's this longing and this yearning, and we may want to fulfill that so desperately that we get into relationships or we attract relationships where our needs aren't being met, or we have to give so much in order for our needs to be met. Other after effects of these mother issues can be if the mother was very critical or judgmental or competitive or jealous, or if she always said that we were so lucky or we have so much and she didn't. We may play small and not aspire to be all that we can be and live at our full potential unconsciously. I haven't seen it to be, in my experience, in my practice, a very conscious thing that we do, but it's this unconscious mechanism to still have the mother's approval and her love and to not threaten her. And, part of the healing process is learning that that's her journey and that we have every right to live at our full potential and realize our dreams and embrace the opportunities that are available to us. Because otherwise we can continue to suffer from extremely low self-esteem, very low self-worth, a feeling of rejection and abandonment all the time, a feeling that we're not good enough, a feeling that it's not safe for me to play big or to live in my full potential. I have to play small. I have to let others shine and not myself. And this can be very detrimental to us because then we won't live at our full potential and we may not feel worthy of the healthy relationships that we deserve, the love that we deserve, and we may always be seeking from others and other experiences and situations a sense of and a feeling of validation and approval and being good enough, and like someone needs to give us permission to go for it, to live our dreams, to start those projects or those businesses, or just go for it, whatever your dream is, out of this fear that, you can't, or I can't do this, I don't have permission, or I don't want to, create conflict or disapproval, and we're just waiting for that sometimes. And the one I see most often is really putting others' needs before our own and having these relationships where we play the rescuer, and we attract victims, where we play the martyr and again attract people who always need us, and that we feel that the more we sacrifice and give, we might earn some love back, instead of being empowered and, first of all, attracting people who are also empowered and reflect our own empowerment back to us, as well as just clearly and assertively and lovingly and gracefully asserting our needs, communicating what we want, what's acceptable to us, having healthy boundaries. Those are the things that we often need to work on as we heal our mother issues. Now, of course, all these issues could be much larger than the mother issue. We can't blame our mothers for all of this, and we have to remember again that they are human mothers. But if we've had some of the experiences with our mothers that I've shared earlier, they can definitely manifest into these experiences both internally in terms of the wounds that we experience, and then externally with the kinds of behaviors that we exhibit and the experiences that we constantly find ourselves attracting. And unfortunately, sometimes the issues can get so severe with our self-esteem that we may develop eating disorders and body image issues and just really not feel comfortable in our bodies, feel beautiful and accepted, and be competitive with other women, or attract women in our lives who are competitive and judgmental and not friendly. And we can have trouble making those soul sister relationships or having a sense of feminine support and a sacred circle of loving women in our lives. We can end up being very hard on ourselves, or we can be very hard and critical on other people. And we can have a lot of trouble being receptive. And this is such a key for feminine energy, because the goddess energy, the beautiful, sacred feminine energy that we want to get into through healing all these wounds, is one of receptivity, because the feminine energy draws to us. So we're not meant to try so hard and effort so much and struggle and strive and lack and long. This is on my website as the first page when you come to my website, because it's so essential for us women to know that we're not meant to struggle and strive and long and work so hard to have our needs met, that there's a spiritual process and healing journey that we can go through to reclaim our own gifts and our own ability to fulfill our own needs through spiritual means, by embracing the divine Father, Mother, God, and most of all, our own spiritual strength, wisdom, light, and power. So everything that we're looking for from our mothers, from our fathers, from our lovers, from our friends, from our jobs, from our careers, from everything, it's all inside of us. And I know I'm focusing more specifically on the mother wound, but I just want to share with you that wherever you feel that your mother failed you, hurt you, broke your heart, and you're now having to focus on healing that, know that you are so capable of this. So what is the path to healing our mother wounds? I would love to take you through a little process, and this is the same process I use in my 6-month transformational coaching and healing program, and it's called my 13-session Goddess Mentoring Program, because the way that this healing process works is it works for any issue, because the way that it's designed is that it's a healing journey, and the first half is focused on healing anything, any wounding. So I'll just share with you how this would work specifically with our mother healing. So the very first thing is to acknowledge what happened. You want to give yourself full permission to just call it what it is, not worry about the pressures about, oh, don't say that about your mother, or, mothers do this, but just call it what it was. What happened? What was your experience with your mother? And secondly, how did this affect you? What wounds, what pains, what self-beliefs did this leave you with about yourself, about love, about your worthiness, your value, being nurtured, being deserving of being loved and supported. Where were you wounded, and what were the beliefs and the feelings that you inherited as a result? And then giving yourself full permission to feel your feelings, grieve whatever you lost, whatever you didn't have as a daughter. Grieve the needs that were always unmet, the love that was withheld. Grieve the punishments or the pain that was inflicted by your mother. Give yourself full permission to grieve that. This is something where I love to support my clients, of course, because, a healer or coach or a wonderful, loving confidant, God, Goddess, you can pray, just someone to hold the space for you during this process is so healing and cathartic and helpful. So I hope that you will seek that out in any way that resonates with you and works for you. But please give yourself permission to feel your full feelings and feel them without censor. Just let them all out, because otherwise they're going to be trapped inside of you energetically, and they are going to fester, and it's all unconscious. So in my program, we work with a set of different goddesses through this entire journey at each session. And in this part, we work with goddesses that specialize in making the unconscious conscious and just helping you to purge things out. And then we work with really awesome, badass goddesses who just help you feel your wrath full force, because that is part of feminine power. Goddesses like Kali and Pele, Sekhmet, they help us fully, unapologetically feel our pain and our wrath full force. And that is very cathartic and healing, provided that you do it in the safe container of a sacred space, and ideally for someone else to hold that space for you, my love. After you let it all out and process it, then you've done this emptying, and then you're ready to forgive. Forgiveness does not mean that you are saying what someone did to me was okay, how my mother hurt me, if she hit you, if she abused you, if she abandoned you, or was critical, or wherever your disappointments and pains are. It doesn't mean that you're forgiving those acts or those actions. What you're doing with forgiveness, my love, is saying that I free myself of the pain that I'm still carrying as a result of her unconscious or unloving behavior. So that's the key. And again, this is something that I help my clients go through, because it can be very painful and difficult to forgive sometimes certain things that we've experienced from anyone, and in this case with mother healing. The next thing is you really want to take empowered responsibility and say, okay, if my soul chose my mother, specifically, before I incarnated, if my soul chose my mother because she was the best and ideal mother for me to learn certain spiritual lessons, what could those lessons have been? And I love this part of my program in terms of helping my clients, because this is where all of a sudden my clients no longer feel like victims. And I've had to do this in my own journey as well, where I had a lot of issues with my parents who were very abusive in so many ways. And my healing journey was finally realizing that my soul chose my parents. And at first it's like, why would I choose them? But when you go deeper, you actually get so empowered knowing that there's a higher lesson here. And it's so empowering when you know that you actually did choose them, and they were the perfect parents or the perfect mother to help you learn the lesson that only she could have taught you because of who she is and how she was going to be. So that is so profound and powerful if you can extract that lesson. Oftentimes I notice that with the mother wound, the lessons are around learning to love myself or mastering self-love, learning to fulfill my own emotional needs, learning to feel beautiful and have high self-esteem, learning to live in my full potential unapologetically, learning about my divine self-worth and value and that what I truly deserve, learning how to nurture and mother myself. So these are some of the core lessons that can often come when we do this healing work around what our soul lesson is, because there truly is a spiritual reason and lesson behind why you had the mother you had, why you had the father you had, why we attract the people that we attract in our lives and the significant events that we attract in our lives and experience. So this is very powerful, so I hope you'll explore that. And then once you truly embrace that lesson, you are so free. Not only do you heal and release all that pain, but you transform and transmute it and you transcend it. And this is so powerful because, in my spiritual work, we talk about soul contracts and soul agreements and karmic lessons that we just complete and we are free. And often what can happen as a result is a miracle can happen in your relationship, because now your perception, your perspective is completely shifted. It's aligned with your higher selves because you are in alignment and oneness with what was that soul lesson. So sometimes what happens is the other party, if it's your mother or your father or anyone else, something completely shifts in them and in your dynamic and your relationship. And I've personally and also helped my clients with relationships that had, the same pattern for years and years or all our lives, and with one soul healing session of doing this level at the soul level, because in my work what we do is we'll also work with the soul of the person involved. The physical, the earth relationship completely shifts and changes. Or what happens if the person doesn't change, somehow they're different around you, or if they're exactly the same and they're not different around you, what happens is it just no longer touches you. You're no longer triggered, you're no longer affected, you rise up here and you can bless them where they are and you have compassion for them where they are, but you just move forward because now you are too busy living your best life and attracting the experiences and the people and the healthy relationships that you've always deserved. And then that's the next part is once you've done all this healing work, then like with my clients, we help them see that now there's this empty space. So what do you want to fill that with instead? So if with your mother relationship, you, for example, became a pleaser and a rescuer and always did more for others to get your needs met, now would be the time to reevaluate those relationships. And now is the time of saying, where in my life are these patterns still playing out that I need to now do some lifestyle changes and make some adjustments and up-level and upgrade and elevate everything so it truly reflects my divine self-worth, my divine self-value, what I truly desire and what I truly deserve. And so this is such a beautiful and exciting time. So this is more the second half of my journey working with clients, is that we're now refilling and resetting and redoing and just elevating everything. And specifically for the mother healing, what we want to do here is begin to mother ourselves. We really want to nurture ourselves. So let's say, for example, you are healing the mother wound and you've just spent your lifetime pleasing others and you overwork and exhaust yourself all the time. You say yes to everyone and every social obligation and you're always there for others. Now that you are going to be at this phase, what we're going to help you with is say, okay, we're going to cut back the hours at work. We're going to only say yes when you mean it, when it's an inner, juicy, beautiful, luscious yes from the inside, because you know that that experience is going to mutually enrich and uplift you as well and give to you as well. And then we're going to carve out time for you to nurture yourself. So this could be different for every one of my clients or for you, and it could be taking time to go to yoga class instead of working the extra couple of hours, or going to the spa, or spending time in nature, or taking up a hobby, making beautiful food for yourself every night that you can take for lunch, making smoothies, nourishing your body, nourishing yourself by so many different things, however you like to be nourished, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So this is such a beautiful process, because after all that healing, now you get to mother and nurture yourself. And one of the most important parts of the mother healing is to reclaim the divine mother and forgive your earth mother, knowing that she is human. She did what she did where she was, and my soul chose her to be my mother. And after that, I can embrace my divine mother. And so speaking of the divine mothers, we have beautiful Isis, who once you connect with her, like in my healing work, we help you to become a queen, an empress, a magician, a mother, a lover. You just rock your queendom when you reconnect with Isis, right? And mother healing is such an important part of this. Kuan Yin, this beautiful Buddhist maternal goddess, is all about embracing divine compassion and mercy, and yet balancing that, right? It's all about balance with the goddess Bridget. So Bridget is a Celtic triple goddess. She's a mother goddess, but she's also a badass warrior goddess. So she helps us to remind us of that balance that we need as women. There is, of course, Mother Mary, when we reclaim the Divine Mother, in knowing that we deserve to be held and nourished and supported and loved and nurtured in every way. There's Demeter, the Greek goddess, who is so nourishing, just like Mother Earth. So we connect with Mother Earth. We allow our material needs to be met. If we're struggling with receiving money in abundance and support, all of a sudden we can see that manifest for us in our lives, because we feel worthy of being nourished. And we can do this with healing our relationship with Mama Earth and getting her to support us as one of our beautiful mothers. There's this goddess Damara and Artemis, whom I love because they are both patron goddesses of mothers as well as children. And so they really help us to heal our inner little girl and to give back that sense of wonder and magic and joy and playfulness and receptivity and giddiness and laughter and girlfriend time, and just be so in tune with our inner child and our innocence and our zest for life. And there's this beautiful goddess Irene who reminds us that it is safe and right for us to be held. So no matter how hardworking and successful and empowered we become, we are also children. We are also daughters of the Divine Mother, and she loves us unconditionally and infinitely and completely. And this is all part of the mother healing journey that I hope has been helpful to you. Whatever your wounds around your mother have been, please open yourself to healing them, my love, because you deserve this forgiveness, you deserve this healing, you deserve this shedding, this transformation, and this empowerment. And I can promise you that once you heal this, you are going to attract an abundance and a shower of so many blessings. Things will come to you so easily. Things will come to you without having to work hard, but just because you rest in this place of knowing that you are a divine daughter worthy of all of heaven's love and support and nurturance. So I hope this has served you. As a bonus gift, what I would love to give to you is a prayer that I've created invoking the goddesses to help you heal your mother wounds. So please look for the link in the description of this video, and I'll try to have it pop up as well around me through this video, so you can just click that link and you'll end up on my website, and I'll share on that page a prayer that, if you're open to, can really help you in healing your mother wounds. If you want more love and support from me, I have so many free resources to give to you. I love showering you as my sisters. So please visit me at flourishinggoddess.com. I have a beautiful meditation that's available to you for free as soon as you sign up to join my sisterhood through the newsletter. On Facebook and Instagram, I'm at Flourishing Goddess as well, and there I share so many beautiful card readings and just tips, and it's a nice, more intimate way for us to stay connected. If this video has served you, there's many more on my YouTube channel, so please subscribe and check them out. There's one on father healing, on embracing the healing journey. There's a lot of meditations, and if you have other areas connected to women's spirituality and healing and the divine feminine, please share in the comments with me below what you would like to have me focus on, and if it's something that I can help you with, I'll be more than happy to make a video for it. I love to do these things for you. I hope you'll stay connected, and if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I would be so honored to support you, whether it's in healing mother issues or anything else, and you can connect with me on flourishinggoddess.com to see how you can set up a Skype coaching session, and I can work with you wherever in the world you are, thanks to Skype. So I hope this has served you, my love, and I'm praying that anything that you need healing with your mother, may it be in the hands of the Divine Mother, and may all daughters be healed. May we all be blessed in healing our mother wounds. May all mothers, because all mothers are also daughters, so may all mothers be healed and supported in their own wounds, in their own hurts, in their own pains. May we all connect in divine love with each other, and may all mothers and daughters, may all sons and fathers be blessed and healed and happy and peaceful in every way. Amen, so be it. Thank you, my love, so much. Namaste.